Here we go. All right. I'm going to have you introduce yourself to us.
So my name is Charles Yao, and I am a web host for a mixed martial arts series called PlugOneTwo, where instead of concentrating on MMA as a whole, we delve into the roots, the branches of martial arts to give it a little bit more of a sophisticated side. So it's not just like beer bottle incest martial arts, or it's like kick 'em, kick 'em, kick 'em. You know, people with tattoos all over. Classic examples, I'll interview purists from boxing like Timothy Bradley, Holly Lawson. I just recently interviewed Rickson Gracie from the legendary Gracie clan, Gokor Chavichin, who's legendary in the Russian leg lock art of judo and sambo. And I also do have, I'm on Traklife Radio, where I host a societal culture and sports radio show on Thursdays at trakliferadio.com, Pacific Standard, 1 to 2 p.m. every Thursdays.
Okay, great. Now, how did this MMA show start? Tell me about that.
It's interesting because I really wanted to do a radio and TV web series because, you know, the web is the wild, wild west right now. And I interviewed a lot of DJs from Sirius XM to local radio DJs, chefs, because I'm big into food. Like we interviewed the Gorilla Mall's great food truck season 1 winner. We interviewed writers such as like the Kamenetsky brothers from ESPN. So we wanted to be a mixed topical web series. And we were looking at the numbers as we were interviewing the myriad of people. The martial arts show, we had a lot of views, like in the tens of thousands of views. So we started to concentrate on that, and a lot of people seemed to follow the mixed martial art interviews quite well, and it got a great response. So with that, we just decided to concentrate a little bit more on the mixed martial art aspect.
Okay, great. And what's the focus on each episode of the show?
Well, the classic example is when you interview a fighter, it's all fighting, 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 right? And that tends to be monotonous sometimes because, let's say in jiu-jitsu right now, there's a battle between self-defense jiu-jitsu and sports jiu-jitsu. And if you ask the same people who are on the sports side or on the self-defense side, they're always just going to say the same thing. So classic example, when I interviewed Rickson Gracie, you know, he was revered both in Brazil, because he's Brazilian of lineage, ethnic lineage, and in Japan. The Japanese people are crazy about martial arts. And if you win a fight out there, and if you defeat a Japanese fighter, they herald you, they throw flowers your way. You know, they might as well have you kiss their baby. You know, so what I try to do is ask, what's the difference between Brazilian and Japanese culture? You know, what's it like when you had to immigrate from Brazil to the US? Because, you know, all of us, we know people, if not ourselves, were firsthand immigrants, right? And there's that experience that needs to be brought out. There's that experience of whether the pain of a fighter. You know, a lot of people see Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and training as, you know, an expensive tuitionary type thing, where you just, you know, you pay $200, you train. But a lot of people don't know that there's still people who don't come from money, people who don't come from high education, and they fight. That's all they can offer, is to fight. And that's how they sustain an income and feeding a family. So with that aspect, we try to convey that. And even in my radio show on Traklife Radio, you know, we interview chefs. They struggle. The guys from the Gorilla Mall, they moved from Cleveland, Ohio, tried to pursue being in a band. They became telemarketers. Some became actors, you know, and they found this left turn and found success, you know, to compel people to go like, hey, it's not necessarily all about what you thought of you could be, but just going 100% all the time.
So who are some of the favorites that you've had on your show so far?
Can I involve the mixed topical one aside from MMA? We talked to Mr. Chalk, who is formerly with Shade 45, a DJ, and he's a local hero in Los Angeles. Radio used to be with Power 106. Now he's with Dash Radio. He had a very compelling story where he left absolutely left music. And he's about to sell records with the significance of leaving music. And he runs into one of the managing partners of the Cypress Hill and says, he was literally at a stoplight. It sounds like a J.R. Tolkien mythic story. He's at a stoplight. He runs to our dog and says, hey, DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill has been looking for you. So he got into alcoholism. He was about to sell all his records. And now he's back into radio. You know, it's about the fall. It was so compelling. I really like Jean-Jacques Machado because he has amniotic disease, or I'm probably mispronouncing that, where he only has like this much of his pinky and his thumb. And in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know, everything, grips, strength, you know, leverage, everything is important. But that was never an issue for him and seen as a handicap. He developed his own techniques, just as like over, under, different grips, very unorthodox style of jiu-jitsu technique. And all of this drives and comes from pain, back again from pain, which makes the story of the interviewee more compelling. You know, but the people who come from nothing, that's the beautiful story. I love that. And that's what we try to share on the channel, both YouTube and on Traklife Radio, primarily.